Okay, and you just click to close that. Alright, so now this is done. Let's go on to the next quest, reward bags. I opened it, gave me another piece of paper. Click on manual submit. Now I could use the QDS and throw it into there because I have this option available, but I also have the manual submit. I have the one piece in here, so I can manual submit it. This can work in two different ways. On the one hand, if I have, like, say this needed 10 pieces of paper and I had 5 of them, sometimes I can click manual submit. It'll take the 5 I have, and this will say 50% because I turned in half of the total that I need. Sometimes it's waiting for you to get the entire amount that you need. You can't partially turn it in. So it depends on how the quest was set up. Alright, and as a reward it's going to give me another full heart. So I'm going to manually submit, turned in the paper, gave me another heart, claim the reward. Now I have 2 of them. Alright, so everything here is completed. Nothing else for me to do in this chapter that I can see right now. Okay, and chapter 1, all quests complete. Now sometimes you'll see, you go into the chapter and there's nothing open, nothing available for you to work on, but you go back to the chapter list and it'll still say it's like 20% or 50% or whatever, like it does here. That's the 4th state that the quest can be in, that I call the 4th state, and that is hidden. And they won't become visible or available until you've completed some other quest or some other task within other chapters. Alright? Or your reputation has to be a certain level or something like that. So that's the 4th state that they'll be in. But in this case, we've completed the 1st chapter, and it has opened up other things for us. It's opened up chapter 2, and if I scroll down here, I can either drag this or scroll my scroll wheel, and you'll see that it's opened up chapter 8, alright, which has quests for me to do in here. In fact, it has 1 whole quest available for completion. I'm not going to really mess with that right now. I'm just going to go on to chapter 2. Alright, this is completed. Welcome to Minecraft. Make sure you have the book, which I do, blah blah blah. Now it wants me to get 8 pieces of oak wood. Now, this is one of those tasks where I was telling you that it's looking for a specific type of item. Sometimes you'll see that this little icon in here will, start changing to different types of materials. Like it might say oak wood, and then it'll change and be birch wood, and then it'll change and it'll say maple wood, and it'll change again and say spruce wood, things like that. And what that means is this particular quest is looking for some type of wood. It doesn't matter what kind. And it uses what's called the ore dictionary, which means that for that particular circumstance, all the wood is the same kind. Typically you'll see that happen when you have a lot of mods that add additional blocks to the game, like you might have with copper. The Tinker's mod adds a certain type of copper. You have the basic copper that comes with Minecraft. You have copper that can come with progressive automation, or from forestry mod and stuff like that. So in that way, it will account all the different types of copper as the same type, or at least it should. I've played some packs where they didn't set it up quite that way, and what a pain, because the copper that they were asking for was way down deep in the world, and yeah, that's ridiculous, because by the time you actually get to what they're asking for, you've got really high level equipment and so forth, and it's no longer relevant. So I like the ones where they actually have things that are at your tier of progression. So for this instance, it's looking for oak wood, and it's looking for specifically oak wood. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to punch down an oak tree, not a spruce tree, an oak tree. Okay, and this is one of those giant ones where I can get a ton of wood out of it, so I'm just gonna punch away and get the wood. All right, that's another thing you'll see in Minecraft is the achievement system. It took me honestly a little while to figure out that you have to go in here, hit your escape key and get into you pause the game and go into achievements, and this is where you get the achievement system. All right, you don't get rewards out of this really, at least I don't think you do. But it's one where you get wood, and now you see the green line says the next tier of achievement is to make a crafting table. All right, taking inventory is to open up the book. That would have been the first one. Then get wood, then make a crafting table, and so on and so forth. If you click on this button here, it'll cycle through the different mods. Like here's Britannia, Applied Energistics, Buildcraft, Tinker's Construct. All right, and those are the only ones that have achievements set up in the system. Some do, some don't, but that's how you get into it. I must have played probably 6 months before I realized, hey, there's actually a thing there. So, all right, so that's where that comes from. So I'm just going to go ahead and punch these. Oh, yeah, real quick. So this mod pack has the inventory. I forget the name of the mod, but you know what? I can show you mods here. There you go. Here's all the mods that are in this pack. All right, I'm just scrolling up and down in here, and you can see some of the specific items that it adds. But this is another way. I'll show you some other time how to mess with this a little bit. That allows you to kind of cull down the things that are in your recipe mode there to just show the things that are specific to one mod, and sometimes that's very helpful. But yeah, so but go back in here, click on it and scroll, and this can be a pain too, because once you go off from here, it just if I mouse off here, it'll just disappear this list, and then I can go back and open it up again. I wish you could click on it and have it stay open, but anyway, inventory. Chests. Okay, it's not going to show it in this list. I forget the name of the mod, but it has to do with inventory sorting. I think it's advanced inventories or something like that. But anyway, this little button up here allows you to configure the setup for anything that has an inventory, like a chest or your personal inventory or something like that. And what it does is it allows you to sort the inventories. All right. So for this instance, in my personal inventory, by default, excuse me, by default, if the key the hotkey that's bound to it is the R key, R is in radio, and if I click that, it'll sort my inventory, into a logical order. I think it does it first by the mod that it's in, and then by the the item number or something like that. I forget how it works, but you can go into here and you can configure how it sorts the items for you. By the most of, or by mod, or by item ID. That's the little meta numbers that you see at the end of these items, like the 4860. That's its meta number, and it'll sort them 48, 60, 61, 62, 63, if you had those items. All right, and by default the sorting starts at the top left and goes across, and then goes to the next row, and then goes to the next row. All right, what it'll also do, say for example, I had a bunch of items spread out all through my inventory in weird places. If I click that, it puts them all into nice neat stacks for me. All right, and it's a good way to kind of clean up your inventory real quick. Another hotkey that's on here is your middle mouse button by default, and certainly you can go into your controls configuration and change things like that. Sometimes if you have a mod pack that's got a ton of mods, and a lot of the people that made those mods use the same keys, you'll have ones that'll conflict with each other. So you'll try to click on the R key and it's trying to use another mod first and it won't work. So something to take into consideration for that is to look at your controls and see what's conflicting. But yeah, so that's that. Now when you get into an inventory, you'll see that there'll be other buttons up here, and I'll go over those once we actually make them. Alright, so I'm gonna get back to punching wood. And this is, going through a lot of stuff here, and I haven't really accomplished much on the quest. But I'm trying to go through some of this a little bit, like little tips and tricks as I think of them. That's gonna kind of make your life a little bit easier when you're going through these mod packs.